Hey everybody! Today I'm here to talk about a problem I've just started to notice with Deep Rock Galactic lately. Now I know hearing me say that might make some of you check out your window to see if any pigs are flying, but trust me, this is a very minor complaint in the grand scheme of things. It's just something that has started to bug me more and more recently. See, I just finished getting myself the final promotion for my gunner, and I promise this video isn't just an excuse for me to flex or anything. But one thing I noticed was how unsatisfied I felt. The more I played, the more I wanted to avoid doing promotions, and I realized that promotions just aren't really worth it at all. I mean, sure, having fancy stars on your icon is nice and all, but it really feels like there should be something more substantive. You see, a long time ago, there was the endgame update, where overclocks and machine events were added. These all became unlocked after your first promotion, and the reason why I bring up this update is because I think it was named inaccurately. Sure, your first promotion is a big deal, but it's not like that's the end of the game. It's only one of many, many more, but it's the only one that gets any kind of reward. There are 17 other promotions, and not a single one offers anything. In fact, they do the opposite. They are very, very expensive, but they still offer no reward except for those little stars on your icon. Now, to be fair, the stars are a nice little way to indicate your dedication to the game, but it feels like there should be more. Something to represent not only the time you put in, but the resources you put in as well. Of course, it's not quite that simple. If we wanted to talk about solutions that may reasonably get into the game, then we have to take the developer's intentions into consideration. I want to offer a few solutions that I think fit in line with the core idea of what Deep Rock is supposed to be. The developers have said before that they don't want to lock new players out of content and cosmetics. To quote the Season 1 frequently asked questions, "We are introducing the Performance Pass as a design solution to engage and reward players, new or old, with cosmetic items instead of letting those new cosmetic items drown in the shop and be unattainable for new players." Later in the same answer, it goes on to say, "For new players, these new cosmetic items were competing in cost with the gameplay upgrades and mostly lost out to that choice, so we didn't feel that the new cosmetic items added as much to the game as we felt they should. So in order to offer a good solution, let's try not to put anything too significant behind this progression. It needs to be something that can be rewarding, but won't be too unfair for people who may not be able to play as much. Let's keep that in mind as I present what I think may be a few good solutions." My first idea is adding a new type of cosmetic called badges. Badges would be placed somewhere on the chest plate of your armor. You could receive a badge for your first promotion, and it would look like the stars on your nameplate. As you gain more promotions, your badge would change. People have discussed the idea of cosmetics that change as you level up or promote, and I think that this would be a great idea. In fact, I think this badge could extend to more than just promotions. What if we got badges for each season? As you complete the season's pass, you could rank up your badge. Of course, we would be one season down since we didn't get a badge for Season 1, but I don't think that would be a major issue. They said they don't want to have players miss out on content, so maybe there could still be a way to unlock and level up badges from seasons past. Badges could also be used for other things, like how many of a certain enemy you've killed, or how many times you've tipped Lloyd. I feel like this would be a great way for a player to show off their achievements that they're most proud of. Now, one argument against this is that it might lead to some kind of elitism. I don't think that's a very valid argument, but I thought I'd still bring it up because it is a point that can be made. My rebuttal would be that the stars on your icon already cause that. I mean, we've all seen the lobbies that are like, don't join unless you have 3 gold stars. So I don't really think it's possible to remove this sense of elitism unless you remove levels and promotions entirely. Another, more valid argument is that it may be difficult to add a new cosmetic type. Of course, there would need to be a new cosmetic slot, and it would also need to work with all the other cosmetics. There's no point in wearing a badge if your beard covers it up. Plus, all the new models and textures would need to be made. I don't think these would have to be very complicated models, but nonetheless, it would still be a lot of work to get them in. Not only that, but that's a lot of work that's not going towards working on the core game experience. This is probably the strongest counter-argument I can think of. Moving on to my next solution, I think that a cool idea could be having decorations for the space rig. Now, I am far from the first person to suggest something like this, but I think that the idea of using decorations as a solution to the promotion problem is a unique spin. Essentially, as you promote your dwarf, you would unlock a new cosmetic for the space rig. There's actually something kind of like this already in the game. As you level up, you unlock more and more stuff in the Memorial Hall, like giant gold statues and banners. Something like that in the main rig itself would be a great way to show your dwarf slowly making the rig into their home. I feel like this would add a lot more character. I feel like that would I feel like this would add a lot more character not only to the game as a whole, but to the space rig itself. It would really feel like your dwarf is working their way up the ranks and slowly starting to fit into the company as a whole. Another big upside to this solution is that I personally don't think it'll be as pressuring for completionists. When you go to the shop and see you're missing a cosmetic, it puts a lot more pressure on you to collect it. But when you can't really see it and it's just sort of something in the background that's not as important as something that you can actually customize, then it doesn't really feel like as big a deal. Now, that could just be me, but I still feel like it's a pretty good solution. Now, of course, this comes with similar problems to the first one, but on a much larger scale. I think that the badges would be pretty simple to make, but making all new decorations for the space rig would be a lot more intensive. I feel like that's a pretty valid reason for the developers to avoid doing something like this. One final idea I have is bonus missions. These could be special missions that you go on once you promote. They could be extra rewarding or simply offer a new challenge. Exactly what kind of challenge? I'm not certain. I'll be honest, this idea is my least fleshed out. I just really like the idea of having some kind of mission where something weird or wacky happens. Some kind of special event where, I don't know, maybe there's really tiny Praetorians or really big swarmers. I've been fascinated with the idea of having missions that are a little bit more outlandish, and I feel like maybe this could be the opportunity to implement something like that. Now, I think that locking these special missions behind promotions might be a bit unfair, but I also think it'd be a really great incentive to push for those promotions to try and see what weird and wacky mission you unlock next. Perhaps once you finish unlocking all the promotions, you can play these bonus missions whenever you want. Overall, I'm pretty sure none of my solutions are perfect. I just think this is something worth considering, and I really think that people who put in the time to earn these promotions should be rewarded, and not just because I'm one of them. So what do you guys think? Let me know if you liked the solutions I offered, or if you think they can be improved. Do you have any solutions of your own? Let me know, I love to hear them. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.